What's going on, everyone? So, I wanted to sit here and make this video about drugs. So, why do I think all drugs should be legal? I personally believe that all drugs should be legal, even the drugs that I don't agree with. Like, I've never done meth, I've never done heroin, I've never done cocaine, I've never done things like that. I did get into pills at one time, but I don't use any of those. Like, even to this day right now, like, I don't even use Advil, or ibuprofen or anything like that. Every time, like, I get a cold, or if I have a toothache, or if I have a pain, I use, I use plants and herbs. But I wanted to kind of break down that I believe that all drugs should be legal. It doesn't matter what the drug is, what the substance is, whether it's a plant, a chemical, a whatever. The only thing I think that I would, I don't know, still keep illegal is fentanyl and carfentanil and those molecules. I would use those only for doctor use only. Like it does not leave anything else besides being used by a doctor, which I'm pretty sure they use fentanyl in the epidural now that they give women to take away the pain, for childbirth. But like childbirth and like on your deathbed is the only time that should be used. But I just think all drugs should be legal for people to use. Besides that, because it's just the only reason I say that it's a toxicity issue. It's like fentanyl is so fucking potent that it's basically toxic in a way because you 2 milligrams, you get some of the fucking powder on you, you'll die. That's just a substance that we shouldn't, have running around in our streets or have running around in our veins or running around inside of us. Now, I think that, as crazy as this sounds, I even think heroin should be legal. I think that people should be able to use psychedelics. People should be able to use plants and herbs, whatever they want to use. People should be able to decide what they want to do. Mainly because, depending on what type of substance you prefer, usually depends on your personality, right? Maybe you prefer at the end of after work, when you get out of work, maybe you prefer to spark a joint. Or when you get out of work, maybe you prefer to, crack a beer open. Regardless, I feel like that should be your decision. And if you really pay attention, those two people are two different types of people. The type of person that comes home and cracks a beer and the type of person that comes home and smokes a joint. They're two different types of people because they have two different types of personality. Therefore, they're using the substance or drug that best fits their personality. And I think that, just like Terence McKenna said, where he was talking about, you could tell a lot about a society by what drugs they allow you to use, and what drugs they do not allow you to use. Because you can learn a lot about a society that way. And because depending on what type of substances people use is usually depending on the type of society you're going to have. We have an alcohol and tobacco-based society. Well, alcohol, tobacco, sugar, red meat, we have that type of society that we're living. And I personally think that having that type of society breeds a certain type of American, right? That's why we have that typical, I'm an American. What people, the way people talk about it and joke about it, and it's a joke, but it's a stereotype. But it's a stereotype based on the drugs that we're allowing people to use, and based on the type of people that other people view us as, because, like I said, you could tell a lot about a society by the drugs that they use, and Terence was 100% right on that. And I think that it's deeper than that, though, because the drugs that we can't use, so we can't expand our mind. They make it so we can't expand our mind. We can't use psychedelics. We can't use other shit. Like, we can't expand our mind. But we can detract our mind using alcohol. and we can smoke cigarettes, slowly kill ourselves, and we can, yeah, and it's weird with cigarettes because it's like nobody grows their own tobacco. It's like tobacco. I think I don't know if this. I don't know because I don't smoke cigarettes, but like I think it's legal to grow your own tobacco. So I don't get why people just don't grow their own tobacco. You know, yeah, it's like it'd be like if when we became legal in Colorado, it'd be like if everyone only bought pre-rolled joints. Like, and don't get me wrong, some people probably do buy pre-rolled joints, but that's not the only thing being sold. I think that if you were just selling pure tobacco, that'd be different. And now they do have tobacco roll, stuff where you can roll your own cigarette, but a lot of times that shit looks like just paper, fucking sprayed with nicotine. It doesn't even really look like tobacco. And a lot of people say it doesn't burn like tobacco either, but I don't smoke cigarettes, and I'm not really for cigarettes. I'm not for alcohol. I'm not for antidepressants. I'm not for medications that like for ADHD or things like that. I am not for them, and I used to be completely against them. I used to say fuck that shit, but now I've grown up, right? I've realized that it's like they don't work. That's not for me, right? Because they don't fit my personality. They don't fit me, but they might fit you. So that's why I think that everyone should still have the legal fucking right to be able to use that side of things if that's what they want to use. If somebody wants to use menthol cigarettes, then they should be able to smoke menthol cigarettes. There should be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There should be no issue with it, right? If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. If people want to drink alcohol, there shouldn't be any issue with that. If people want to smoke weed, there should be no issue with that. If people want to use kratom, there should be no issue with that. If people want to, chew khat, or if people want to chew the areca nut, if people want to smoke wild daga, if people want to take whatever the fuck they want to take, if people want to shoot up, honestly, I feel like everyone should be able to do what they want to do. And if we lived in a society where all drugs were legal, people think that everyone's just going to be overdosing on the streets from heroin with needles in their arms. No, all drugs are legal. So I think people would be able to, I think people would choose, right? And the majority of people, if drugs became legal, the majority of people probably wouldn't use drugs. The majority of people would probably be more educated, because we'd be educated on these things. We were taught to drink in school. We were taught how to drink, and we were taught that, oh yeah, alcohol goes out of your system in 1 hour, so 1 beer per hour, and responsible drinking. Well, we should be taught responsible drug use as well. We should be taught how to use substances. We should be taught how to use psychedelics. We should be taught, if you're going to use cocaine, this is whatever. We should be taught these things. And I know that a lot of people disagree, but I just think that education is the key. Because like I said, I'm very into using substances, plants, herbs, molecules. I have a passion for these things, but I've never done cocaine, I've never done heroin, I've never done meth, I've never done any stimulant, really. Like, I've never done really anything like that, because that's not my thing. I've come to realize my thing is plants and herbs. My thing is just, I love these plants, I love herbs, I love what they do, and I love how plants and herbs can affect your consciousness. They can expand your consciousness, they can expand your awareness. I got something in my eye. But yeah, no, I just wanted to make this video real quick, just to let you guys know that I was just sitting here thinking, I think all drugs should be legal, and this is why. I think it's because what drug you use tells people a lot about you in general. It's like what clothes you wear tells a lot about you. What books you read tells a lot about you. What videos you watch tells a lot about you. You know what I mean? What's in your YouTube subscription list, that tells a lot about you. But it's the same thing with, What substances do you use? Do you use them to escape? Do you use them to expand your mind? Do you use them to face your problems, or do you use them to escape your problems? Do you use them to learn? Do you use them to shut your mind off so you don't have to learn anymore? Do you use them to get energized, or do you use them to feel relaxed? There are many reasons why people use substances. Do you use them to wake up in the morning, or do you use them to go to bed at night? It's like there's a lot of reasons, but I just think that no matter what substance it is, I think that it should be legal because they're just fucking molecules. There's molecules. That's it. So I think that people should leave these molecules alone because these molecules did nothing to you. People think that drugs are bad. No, it's lack of education that's bad. Because, I just think that if people tested substances, weighed out substances, and were educated on the substances they were using, we wouldn't have many of these issues that we have in the world today. We have an opioid epidemic because people are, lacing the fucking heroin with fentanyl and carfentanil. So realistically, we have a fentanyl epidemic. We have a fentanyl issue. We have a issue with doctors prescribing Adderall like it's candy to people with ADHD and not telling these people that Adderall is highly addictive and can cause withdrawal symptoms up to 30 days. It's like there's just so many. We have a drug epidemic in the world, but it's not what they think. People think that the drugs that we need to watch out for are these street drugs. Now, the only street drug we really need to watch out for is fentanyl and carfentanil. But realistically, a lot of the drugs we need to look out for are the drugs that are being created and prescribed. And we just brush it off because it's legal. We brush it off because a doctor said. Oh, my doctor said. Your doctor's not a fucking chemist. And I'm sorry, I'm not against modern medicine and I'm not against doctors, but I am against the fact that I guarantee, I'm not a doctor, but in their oath, I bet it has to have something about Hippocrates, because Hippocrates, created modern medicine. Let food be thy medicine, medicine be thy food. Like, they've lost track of where they came from. We've lost track of where modern medicine came from. And I think that we need to just realize that plants and herbs need to be adapted in our diet. And if we keep trying to make these plants and herbs illegal, like cannabis and kratom, and they keep trying to fuck with all these things, and they keep trying to fuck with plants while they're creating much more dangerous drugs in the lab, it makes no sense to me. So I feel like this needs to stop being a thing about profit, and it needs to be a thing about actually, helping people. But at the same time, it needs to be a thing about letting people be people. Because if this is a free country, doesn't that mean that we should be able to ingest whatever the fuck we want? That we should be able to take a substance whether we're sick or not? Because the issue is that we have this way of thinking that you only take a drug or a substance or a molecule when you're sick. What about you being sick in the mind? What about your mind? Your mind needs molecules, not just your body being sick. What if your mind is sick in a way that you can't measure? That, whether it's your cognitive function needs to be a little more amped up, whether it's you want your memory to be better, whether it's maybe you are a little down in the dumps and you need a little boost up. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to immediately go to a benzodiazepine. There's many other options, but that's my issue with when it comes to making drugs illegal, is they limit our options. They want to put us in a box, and I'm sick of being put in society's box. I'm sick of society creating these fucking boxes. It's like, we have plants and herbs for a reason. Yes, some of them might not work as good as a medication, but the ones that people enjoy, why do they become illegal? But the ones that we don't enjoy, why are they not? Why is belladonna not illegal? Like, belladonna is not illegal in this. I'm pretty sure I could buy it right now online. I can probably buy datura leaves online right now. I could probably, honestly, I can go right outside, and pick datura leaves, and roots and berries and whatever. But why is it that, nutmeg's legal? Nutmeg contains a psychoactive substance. It can get you high. It's not really an enjoyable high, but is that why? Is it that they only want to make illegal what we actually enjoy? Because what we enjoy interferes with the profits of Big Pharma. And this is why I think that, making drugs illegal is not a good thing, because what is the intention? Now, if the intention is to you really genuinely care about our health, then you need to look at the medications that you have, backed. Look at all the medications, the FDA has backed, but yet they're against kratom, which is a leaf. But you're not against spinach, which is a leaf. And yeah, they contain different things on a chemical level, but it's still just a fucking leaf. So I think that the war on drugs is ridiculous because it's become a war on plants and a war on consciousness. So I just think we need to get rid of that, and we need to make all drugs legal and just leave it at that. But yeah, educate, put it in schools, teach in schools, change. You'd have to change the curriculum in school. You'd have to change society a little bit. Society would change eventually. I just think that we need to, back the fuck off. So, yeah, we need to back off of these plants and let people be human. Humans were meant to eat plants. Peace out, everyone.